Hello, this is Tom Britt. West Tennessee PBS is working hard to bring you more local shows and quality PBS programs. And they need your financial help because they don't run commercials, they rely on your support. It's easy to donate. Go to their website, westtnpbs.org, and click on the Donate tab. Your donations to Channel 11 stay local and help WLJT-TV continue their mission to be as local as possible.
Well, hello everyone, how are we doing? Got food in us, now everyone's going to fall asleep on me, right? Thank you, Rosetta, for the introduction. I hear an echo up here, is everyone okay? You can hear me out there fine? Okay, that's great. I was reading through the Exchange Club Covenant of Service earlier and was really impacted by the very last, all points. All of it's really great. But the last point I thought was really interesting. I just wanted to read that out loud. You all know it really well, but I just want to read it on the front end of this. To serve in unity with those seeking better conditions, better understandings, and greater opportunities for all. As Ms. Rogetta said in the introduction there, I do have almost a decade's worth of social service in the area, in Jackson, in the area. So I've worked with our homeless population, I've worked with victims of domestic violence, I've worked in the prison system, and most recently I was a financial counselor, which is a service I'm going to tell you about at the end that I'm excited to share with you all. This new role is really unique. It's something that not a lot of cities have built into the ecosystem of the government, which is the Office of Financial Empowerment. And I'm just going to kind of walk through for all of you if you're not familiar with it, so you can kind of be familiar with what the office is, and then I have some other things I want to talk about here in a second. But the unique part of it is that the program sits within the mayor's office. I'm a part of an internal team called the innovation team, the Office of Innovation. And Jackson's really special because like some larger cities will do this, large municipalities, and Jackson has had the ability to do this. We offer those kind of services where we have teams of people thinking innovatively of how to move our citizens forward and how to, in my case, financially empower our community. And I think one of the things I want to do before we get too far into this, I want to ask some questions, just get a little bit of exchange back and forth with all of us here at the Exchange Club. I'm curious, how many of us in the room are homeowners? How many of us own our homes, have a mortgage? Okay, it's a big chunk of us. I'm curious, how many of us had a bank account before we turned 21? That's great, okay. Moving on kind of a little bit with some financial education questions, a little more personal. I'm curious, how many of you feel like you received adequate financial education once you graduated from high school, say? We'll just leave it at that. You feel like you knew how to engage with the world through the financial education that you had in school? I see some, they're like, yeah, I felt pretty good moving in. That's great. Show up.
In school or by our parents?
So the second question is, how many of us had someone in our lives that gave us meaningful financial advice? What were some of those things? I'm curious. What were a few? Someone say a few of the things that you remember that stick out to you.
My dad taught me how to count back change to people.
Count back change.
Open your IRA.
IRA. Yeah. Okay.
Balance the checkbook.
Yep. Balance the checkbook.
Just because you have checks doesn't mean you have money.
Quality advice. Yep. That's great.
My dad, my first job, which I didn't make any money, he said, have you started your retirement plan?
Yeah.
I was just barely out of college.
Legacy planning. Yeah, that's a big deal. Something you don't think about when you're young that you should. Any other big ones? Those are all really good. Yeah, taxes early. That's right. My experience is maybe like some of yours and maybe some of our communities. I had maybe an economics class in 9th grade in high school, and Mr. Jetta, just to be honest, I was not paying attention in that class. And my family situation growing up, I was probably what would be deemed as a lower income family, and so we kind of just were doing what we had to do to get by, and so there wasn't a lot of conversations about opening IRAs or filing taxes early or legacy planning. And unfortunately, that's a lot of our community around us. We all know this. It's been some of our experiences here in the room. It's been maybe some of the experience. You didn't really learn how to engage with the financial world until you were in the financial world. And all of a sudden, you have to figure out how to do the mortgages, how to do the car loans, and all the different things. So the reason that I'm so excited about my particular office is because I get to take all the information that I've learned and find ways to engage with our community in ways that financially empower, financially equip, and financially educate. We have a lot of different literacy things I'm going to tell you about. So on some of that, I want to tell you about some of the programs that I'm currently working on, my office is working on, and I'm going to end this with something very tangible, something that you all could benefit, you could reap the benefits of today. And if you don't need it, then your communities, those that you serve and those that you help, could have access to that, okay? So one of the things I'm currently working on is something called Bank On. Essentially, it would take a lot of discussion to really hash out what all it is, but in short, it's a collaboration between financial institutions and our community. And it creates a space where we have like health providers, and we have legal advisors, and we have social services, and we have financial institutions all around the table together talking about any kind of deficiencies or any kind of new innovative ways to engage with our community that maybe they didn't have before. And so it looks like one of the things that maybe some of you all are familiar with, until recently, here in Jackson at least, there wasn't a brick and mortar financial institution east of really Royal, but east of Highland, you could say. That's changing. We have a couple banks that are looking at plots of lands and one that's already broken ground, so that's going to change, but that leaves out the entire east side of Jackson. And those families don't have immediate, easy access to a brick and mortar financial institution. So one of the things that Bank On might do, for instance, would be something like mobile pop-ups. You know, banking institutions all gather together in a place, maybe in the East Jackson area, have food trucks and something like that, and you offer the ability to open up accounts in that kind of way. So that's just like a taste of what some of those conversations might be like. But that's Bank On. That's one of the things that I'm working on currently. Another thing that I'm excited about is a program called Smart Start. It is a children's savings account program. Essentially what it is it's an ability to offer a savings account to incoming kindergartners. So I don't know if you all have kids that are that age or if you have grandkids that might be that age, but maybe next year if they're in the Jackson-Madison County school system, they would have access to this account. There'd be money in the account. You could deposit money into this account for them. And upon graduation, they would have that pot of money ready for them for any kind of job readiness thing they might have, whether it be school, post-secondary school, and things of that nature. So that's really unique and kind of fun. I have two other things. This summer, every summer, Jackson has hosted and employed youth to do different jobs for the city of Jackson. Usually it's camps and things of that nature. And this summer, we're engaging with our youth to offer them a bank account, a checking account. So it's tailored to them, it's safe, there's no fees, there's no overdraft fees. They really can't mess it up. So there's nothing that they can do that's gonna put them in a bad spot. But it started them off on the right foot, like we said, and most of you all raised your hands and said, hey, before 21, I had a bank account. I don't know about you, well, I'm curious, how many of you still have that same bank account? Only a few of you? I still have the same one that I opened before I turned 21. But what that did for me is it helped me to learn to engage with financial institutions and think about my money in a different way, and I'm hoping that that's going to happen with the youth that we're working with this summer. There'll be workshops through the summer as well and different things we'll engage with the youth on, which will be great. But I want to end on, if I haven't lost you, I want to end on the thing that I think will be most utilized by you all. You all are servants in your own capacities in the community, and I want to tell you about the Financial Empowerment Center. Okay, I was a financial counselor at that service before moving into this role. And essentially what it is it's a one-on-one professional financial counseling resource that's offered for entirely free. There's no cost. And so what that means is, just like a therapy counselor or any other type of counseling, you have full access to this individual, and you can have as many sessions as you want, talking about whatever you feel like you need to talk about. And you have someone that's essentially a coach, coaching you through step by step how to work on things like paying off which debt first, or how to think about interest rates on loans, or how to just budget, or how to think about getting a first-time homeowner's loan, or whatever it might be. And so that service is one of the quintessential things that I work on, working with stakeholders and helping fund that. And that service is available today. It's available to the region. It's not just inner city Jackson. It's available to all of West Tennessee, technically all the counties that United Way serves. So there's a couple counties that are not part of that. Shelby is one. But if you all have folks if you want to reap the benefits yourself, you can. We've had folks that directors of businesses that say, I just need someone to talk to hash out my stuff. But also if you have family that would be interested in that, and especially those in your community, those that you serve, those at your workplaces, or just your churches, your places of gathering, that's something that today, it's been over just today, a couple years now, but as of today, you have access to that. I have information about that on the table back here in the corner. I have a flyer you're welcome to, as well as my business card if you'd like that. I'm happy to come and talk myself. I want to make myself a resource. I can come and share and do short presentations on any kind of little financial topic. I'm not a wealth advisor like she is, and there's probably some things that I don't know, but I have learned quite a bit. I do have a lot that I can share. So if you would like to utilize me in any kind of speaking events, feel free to do that as well. So apparently I have to answer questions. So if you have any questions, hopefully they're not too difficult, but I'd be glad to try that. So.
I guess I'll start off.
Yeah.
And I may just point to Christiana as well. You mentioned the savings accounts for the kids to start. Is that the same program you brought to the Education Foundation, just kind of in the different?
So it's a continuation of the work that Christiana. So Christiana was my predecessor, did a fantastic job, and has laid the groundwork for a lot of the work that I'm doing. And so in this past year, I've actually had a design team formed that I've been meeting with regularly to design the different components of that program. And so I've got it, for the most part, fully built out, and working with Melissa Spurgeon and some of the folks with the school system to actually bring that back to the Education Foundation. So that's coming up soon. But yes, it's the same program.
They're meeting right now as well, and I skipped that because
Did you?
I was hungry. They didn't have one.
That's right.
And we've heard about this program, and y'all have approached the Education Foundation
Mhm.
with seed money, but I got more questions about it. Maybe we can connect.
Yeah, please, let's do that. Yeah, I want to be as well equipped when I go talk to the Education Foundation as well. So questions are always welcome for that, absolutely. There was another one in the back.
For the youth accounts, what ages?
For the summer youth program?
No, for the youth accounts, for the savings accounts.
So, well, there's two different things. So I can maybe backtrack and I'll probably answer one of two ways here. So the summer, those accounts where I have summer youth coming in to work, those will be for 16-year-olds to 24-year-olds is how that is. It's not a custodial account. Financial institutions actually can set their own policies. It's totally legal for them to offer accounts for even down to 13 and younger without a custodian. So we're working our youth are only down to 16, so we'll be having those accounts available for 16-year-olds this summer. But the savings account is a little different. It is more like a custodial account. So kindergartners, it would be 5-year-old, 5, 6-year-olds, or 4, I guess. I don't know how young they can be when they start kindergarten, but when they start kindergarten, those accounts will be available by proxy of a custodian. There'd be a parent's name that would be on that account. That's how that would work.
Are you dealing with the teenagers? I just wonder, I know a lot of places now are having that first-time home buyers seminars. A lot of kids get out of college and start making pretty good money and think about buying a house. They don't know what a credit score is. Do you talk to the teenagers about that?
Yes, absolutely. And part of what we're doing this summer, too, with the summer youth, and that's not all the youth in Jackson. I'm a resource. I'd love to come talk to youth about that. But the summer, one of the things we'll do is have some incorporated workshops talking about things like that. Youth are interested. That's the thing. Youth want to know. When you do polls and you have surveys and things, youth are interested to know things that maybe they don't have that access to the education piece nearby. They can jump on the internet, but if they go and ask mom, who's never really had to deal with that, sometimes that's hard. They don't know how to access that financial education piece. So I want to find more ways to get that kind of information out. So yes. Mm-hmm. What you got?
Is there a part of your program that actively teaches kids to delay gratification? Because that's one of the biggest issues. Money is technical skills are fine.
Yeah.
But that's the biggest issue most of them have. And are you actively trying to do anything to change the way they view status? Like people
That's
talk about
hard.
status symbols. It is hard.
That's
why it's
difficult.
An important thing.
Yeah.
It's easy to teach somebody, here's a checking book, but it's hard to say, this is why you need to do this. Think about the big picture.
Well, you say youth. It's hard to teach adults that. So whenever I was a financial counselor at the last job, we can only receive folks that are 18 or older, and so it misses out on some of the folks you're talking about probably. But that was one of the hardest things, sitting across the table from someone who's spending $600 a month on clothing whenever they can't pay their bills and talking about behavior change. That's so difficult. But one of the things that I saw that was most useful, and you all know this, it's the same for y'all, it's the same for me, is accountability goes a long ways. And so if I know that I had that counseling appointment 2 weeks from now, and I was supposed to not spend the $600 on clothes, I'm less likely to do that. And so I don't have a specific program geared at just that, but I do think the Financial Counseling Center probably hits on that pretty hard. Because you have to kind of own up to what you did this past week, the last few weeks. That sounds really bad. You don't have to own up to anything. You can do whatever you want to with your money, but there is that accountability. Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. I had to have some really hard conversations with families and say, look, I'm concerned that if you do this for 2 more months, you're gonna face potential foreclosure. And those are hard conversations. And I've had people say, look, if you didn't tell me that, I wouldn't have changed the way that I did things. And so, I can't brag enough about the Financial Empowerment Center. That's a fantastic service, doing things like that.
You recommend a coffee budget?
A coffee budget? Yeah, look. If you can, look, yes, that's the thing about budgets, is if you budget it in there and you looked at the numbers, then absolutely, you have your coffee budget, so.
Well,
Thank y'all so much for your time.
The program you've been watching was made possible through the generous financial support of West Tennessee PBS viewers like you. Please visit westtnpbs.org and make a donation today so that we can continue to make local programs like this possible. Thank you.